Facebook. It seems really great on the surface, and people love it. In fact, over 2 billion people use Facebook daily, and individual users average over 40 minutes on the site each day. So it is clearly very popular and widely used. But is it really a tool for people to connect and share their daily lives with each other? Or is it actually a weapon of social manipulation and mass surveillance disguised as an entertainment and socializing tool? Well, today on Conspiracy Theories and Chill, we're going to look into how Facebook may not be what we think it is at all, and how its origins may have actually been from the intelligence community and not Silicon Valley. Now, there is actually quite a bit of evidence for this theory. For instance, is it a mere coincidence that at the same time that Facebook was launched in February of 2004, a Pentagon civilian spy project called LifeLog was shut down? Well, let's start out by looking into Project LifeLog and explore whether Mark Zuckerberg and his buddies really created Facebook, or if it is actually just a rebranded Black Ops spy program. So what was Project LifeLog? Well, it was basically Facebook, but ran by the Defense Department. Just listen to this description from a Wired article announcing that the project was supposedly being canceled. It reads that the LifeLog project is an ambitious effort to build a database tracking a person's entire existence. Run by DARPA, the Defense Department's research arm, LifeLog aimed to gather in a single place just about everything an individual says, sees, or does. The phone calls made, the TV shows watched, the magazines read, the plane tickets bought, the emails sent and received. And out of this seemingly endless ocean of information, computer scientists would be able to plot distinctive routes in the data and map relationships, memories, events, and experiences. They said that LifeLog would be able to be an all-encompassing diary that could have turned into a near-perfect digital memory, giving its users computerized assistance with an almost flawless recall of what they had done in the past. You know, like your Facebook memories. But when this was announced, it was announced by the Department of Defense in 2003, and civil libertarians immediately pounced on it, and they argued that LifeLog could become the ultimate tool for profiling potential enemies of the state. Rightfully so. But this article goes on to explain that the project was quietly canceled, with no real explanations as to why, other than DARPA had had a change in priorities. But the very same month, the exact same thing is launched by Mark Zuckerberg as Facebook. Coincidence? Well, I don't believe in those, and you shouldn't either. And it would be a fantastical one, wouldn't it? But aren't they all, really? You know, we run into that quite a bit trying to expose this stuff to the sleeping masses. Coincidences, they're literally everywhere. But the fact remains that Project LifeLog was exactly what Facebook now is. The only difference is they got you to willingly do what they wanted to force on you by making it into a consumer product instead. Then you blindly agree to a user agreement that you do not read that gives Facebook the right to do literally anything they want to do with the information that you willingly feed into it. And they do. They have been exposed over and over again for sharing that information. And even if they weren't sharing it willingly, which they are, we all know that the intelligence community has access to all of the information shared on the internet anyway and can monitor it all at will. So whether Facebook willingly does it or not, it's happening, and all of it is now being done by choice. Isn't that amazing? The Defense Department wanted to know everything about civilians, wanted to trace their every moves, know their individual preferences and opinions, and even went so far as to launch a public program to do just that. And when the public response was negative, when confronted with this level of surveillance, all they did was move their efforts to the private sector. Because people were outraged when the government wanted to do it. But now they'll flock to the exact same thing when they're offered it as a product. And that is a frightening realization about society. We rush to embrace the exact same thing we were just outraged about. The project was canceled in 2004 The same month it was announced, Facebook is launched. You know, George Orwell was right about us. It wasn't that he was a prophet or he was able to see the future. He was observant. He just realized that's where people were heading, that we would give up everything for convenience. And that's what we've done. We've given up all of our privacy for convenience. We carry around tracking devices in our pocket. These smartphones, these computers that we all have, they're very convenient, but they're tracking devices, they're listening devices. We all have smart TVs. They're listening and recording everything that we do. We have Alexas in our house. I would never own one, but they're very popular. People have these things. That is constantly recording you. You know, we embrace this surveillance state because it's been corporatized, but it is completely controlled by the government. And despite the shocking similarities between LifeLog and Facebook, is there anything else tying them to the intelligence community? Well, yes, actually. Money. But to get further into that aspect, we're going to have to get into a company called Inquito. Now, Inquito is a venture capital firm funded by the CIA. And the stated reason for Inquito existing is to expand the research and development efforts of the CIA into the private sector in order to deliver innovative technology solutions that support the missions of the CIA and broader U.S. intelligence community. Now, Inquito was launched in 1999 with former CIA Director George Tenet explaining the vision behind it as being, we, the CIA, decided to use our limited dollars to leverage technology developed elsewhere. In 1999, we chartered Inquito. While we pay the bills, Inquito is independent of the CIA. The CIA identifies pressing problems, and Inquito provides the technology to address them. The Inquito Alliance has put the agency back at the leading edge of technology. According to the Wall Street Journal, the reality is that Inquito runs literally all investment decisions by the CIA. And the way that venture capitalists works is they provide capital to a startup business that is in desperate need of cash. And they're great, revolutionary ideas out there that need cash to get rolling. There's plenty of them. But this is the CIA investing in what they want to get off the ground. And these early stage investments put the venture capitalist into the ground floor of the operations with an extremely large amount of influence over the decisions made by that firm or company. And what I'm saying is that the venture capitalist, which in this case is the CIA, is going to be able to steer the future of those companies, as well as how their technologies evolved and what they're going to be used for. So let me give you a brief history of Inquito's early investments. One of them was in a company called Keyhole Earth Viewer. In 2004, the same year, Keyhole Earth Viewer was acquired by another little startup that you may have heard of, Google. Now at Google, Key Earth Viewer was turned into Google Earth, but it is cooperated by Inquito and funded by the CIA. Now, isn't it nice to know that the CIA and Google are on such close terms? But since it was founded, Inquito has made over 160 investments that we are aware of. Inquito doesn't disclose everything it invests in, but the investments that have been disclosed show that the focus has been in data. As far back as 2005, the Washington Post reported that virtually any U.S. entrepreneur, inventor, or research scientist working on ways to analyze data had probably received a phone call from Inquito, or at least been Googled by its staff of technology watchers. Well, Facebook launched in 2004, and the company received its first capital injection of $500,000 from Peter Thiel. The next two injections were $12.7 million from Thiel and Qtel partners in May of 2005, then $27.5 more million from an Qtel-led round of financing that included Thiel, Qtel, and Greylock partners in April of 2006. Now, just for fun, I searched all those investors and Inquito at the same time, and here's what was found. Peter Thiel took Inquito funding for his startup from Paramore somewhere around 2004. Qtel Partners sits on the board of directors of military defense contractor BBN with Inquito's CEO Gilman Louis. Greylock Partners, Howard Cox, the head of Greylock, served directly on the Qtel board of directors. Now, there is no real proof that Inquito or the CIA had any connection with Facebook. But if you're Mark Zuckerberg at a time where they're heavily investing in data and you're starting a data mining company basically, you think your phone is ringing with Inquito on the other end. And like I said, they don't have to disclose everyone they give money to, and don't. Of course they don't. They're the venture capitalist firm of the CIA. The last thing you can expect from them is honesty. But for those reasons, I personally believe LifeLog did become Facebook, and that Zuckerberg is just a front man for a government spy operation. And from the Inquito connections, it looks to be all major social media and search platforms as well. But I want to know what you guys think, as always. So let me know down in the comments below. And thanks so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please share it out and hit that subscribe button to follow our future videos. And I'll see you guys next time right here on Me on Things and Stuff.